Things like Legos and trucks are meant for boys, while girls play dress up and are taught how to be pretty. Boys get chemistry sets, and girls get kitchen sets. And these stereotypes can stay with women throughout their entire academic career. For instance, grocery stores would start to look a whole lot different. If it becomes more difficult to produce fruits and veggies or dairy and meat, then consumers will feel the real sting when it hits their pocketbooks. You don't need a microscope to understand just how competitive research grant writing can be. Only 23% of all NSF grants submitted actually get funded. This means that around 3/4 of all grants submitted never get funded. Crews are expected to be here until around noon today, but the problem might take even longer to solve. So expect this on-ramp to be closed for the remainder of the day and take another route. Colette, Bordelon, News Team Boulder. The sexist remarks are not that subtle.
Why are you putting so much time into getting your PhD if you want to get married and have kids?
Material science and engineering grad student Haley Sohn says that science is still a male-dominated profession, and women often feel driven away before they even enter.
If you can't see it, you can't be it. So if you're not seeing women in these roles, you're not going to think that it's possible for you to achieve that.
In highly technical sciences like engineering, men outnumber women 5-1. Katya Tarasova is one of only 2 women who work in CU's biodegradable materials lab.
In a lab of, I think, 12 or 13 people.
For students like Tarasova, sexist comments can really hurt.
Would people say death by 1,000 paper cuts? And there have been comments that honestly made me cry, quite literally.
Tarasova is a co-founder of Women in Science and Engineering, or WISE, which gives students a place to share their experiences with sexism. Many of the women have dealt with sexism related to stereotypes throughout their lives. WISE wants to
create this inclusive community where people can share their experiences and help each other.
I remember when I was in school hearing that girls were bad at math and science before I even knew if I was. And these stereotypes can get wrapped up into toys, too. Things like Legos and trucks are meant for boys, while girls play dress up and are taught how to be pretty. Boys get chemistry sets, and girls get kitchen sets. And these stereotypes can stay with women throughout their entire academic career. Stereotypes can start young when girls are in elementary school. Stereotypes actually have the ability to affect people's work, and not in a good way. Jarrow Montessori School is combating these stereotypes. 4th and 5th grade girls are designing, crafting, and sanding their very own derby cars.
We find that planting the seeds at a young age cultivates this genuine interest and love for learning that stays with them as they move through their education and later in life and on through adulthood.
Despite sexism in science, women have overcome the challenges.
A female, say, professor who has been very successful in her career, I think that that's almost more impressive than meeting a male professor with the same credentials, because you appreciate the adversity that that female professor probably had to go through, because we've all experienced it.
And for students struggling to remember why they chose such a hard major, women role models can really make a difference. Colette, Bordelon, News Team Boulder. This sight might make you a little anxious, but not Tim Broad.
Look at those little girls, isn't that cute?
For him, bees are just furry little ladies who want honey. But these bees are sick, and it's more challenging for Tim to keep them healthy.
But yeah, these are all little time bombs. They're all very, very sick.
I have to work harder now than I did decades ago taking care of bees.
Honeybees and wild bees are more vulnerable than ever, with colony die-offs in the millions. The causes appear to be a combination of things.
So we like to talk about the 4 Ps: pathogens, parasites, pesticides, and poor nutrition.
And if bees are dying, then they won't be able to pollinate a lot of the plants that produce our fruits.
It's not only fruit, it's linked to dairy and coffee and chocolate and all these other kinds of foods.
Which is about 1/3 of the food on our plate. Bees contribute $15 million in crop value through pollination alone in the U.S. And with an average national die-off of 42% annually for honeybees, the consequences may begin to emerge in everyday life. For instance, grocery stores would start to look a whole lot different. If it becomes more difficult to produce fruits and veggies or dairy and meat, then consumers will feel the real sting when it hits their pocketbooks. In the last 10 years, the price of honey has gone from about $4 a unit and is expected to be nearly $8 by 2017. Beekeepers are learning that public awareness can prevent prices from climbing even higher.
As a beekeeper, I'm really an ambassador about pollinators. Really, the only hope for it is us, as the citizens, saying we need to create and protect habitat. That's really the issue.
And suggestions include planting more flowers.
You can also plant a pollinator garden in your backyard, not use pesticides. Every little swath of flowers really helps the pollinators.
It's not just one solution, but if bees go away, there would be no beekeepers, and the ecosystem collapses. Education may be what saves you that cup of coffee in the morning, that watermelon in the afternoon, that steak in the evening, cherries, tomatoes, walnuts, grapes, mangoes. Colette, Bordelon, News Team Boulder. Welcome to the show, everyone. Today on News Team Boulder, some consider this to be a result of Colorado's voter system and mail-in ballot option. This year, around 2 million Coloradans cast their ballots, compared to the 1.8 million who voted in 2010. But there was also a diversity summit on Tuesday and Wednesday. The Fall Diversity Summit included lectures and discussions on topics ranging from the impacts of oppression to election outcomes. Don't go anywhere. Your News Team weather update with Cyrus Allen is coming up after the break. Good afternoon, Boulder. It's Colette Bordelon here with your weather. Today looks like it's gearing up to be a beautiful day. Right now it is around 61 degrees and sunny outside, making it a great day to enjoy the outdoors. This year is expected to be the hottest year on record due to El Niño conditions and the long-term warming caused by climate change. The Weather Channel says it will be the third consecutive record warm year for the world. 2016 will most likely top 2014 and 2015, which were the hottest years on record. Set your clocks. On Sunday at 2 a.m., daylight savings time comes to an end, and we gain an extra hour of sleep. But it's going to get darker earlier, and with less daylight, there are people who experience seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. If you dread winter, you know how this feels. Finals are coming, days are shorter, and you may feel cooped up inside. A survey by Brown University shows that this causes an increased lack of motivation in students, and their productivity is what suffers. Shorter days mean there's less time for homework, and that means later library nights, which makes sleepier, less motivated students. But there is a way to flip the switch. Light therapy can help you cope with shorter days. Full spectrum light mimics old-fashioned sunlight. This kind of light wakes your body up and makes you feel ready to get out of bed in the morning. Students can also have regular sleep cycles, eat healthy, and remain active to combat SAD. Aside from protests, those unhappy with the election results are organizing in other ways to help each other cope. On campus, the Gender Justice League hosted a post-election discussion yesterday. Donald Trump has been the president-elect for approximately a week and a half. In this time, he has officially filled 2 positions. CU's fall break officially starts Monday, November 21st until November 23rd, which leads right into Thanksgiving break for students and faculty. With the holiday season coming up fast, booking flights is on a lot of students' minds. It shows some low pressure systems moving eastward throughout the country. This will create lower temperatures and some thunderstorms. But here in Colorado, we are still experiencing a high pressure system, which makes it dry and is responsible for the hotter than normal temperatures. The results confused and surprised many voters this year, who now seek to understand our electoral system a little better. Our own Hallie Jones has more on the electorate and its strengths and weaknesses. And tonight is going to cool down with a low of 42 degrees. It will be a clear night with light winds, so you'll be able to see some stars. Is there a pesky parking ticket you still need to pay before break? Parking Services has a way to take care of your fines and help the community. That's all for the weather today. I'll send it back to Christy and Aaron at the desk. That's all the time we have this week. Catch us next Thursday, same time, same place.